Very small update here on Stellar Blade, and hey, if you're a fan of Stellar Blade, I've actually been playing through it on my other channel, Degenerate Plays, my Let's Play channel, so that's going to be in the description down below and the pinned comment. Love to see you over there, we hang out, play games. But Stellar Blade is getting a DLC, and actually 2 crossovers. Now you're going to say, no wait a minute Jay, there was only 1 crossover announced at the State of Play. There was 1 crossover announced for Stellar Blade, the game. There was another crossover announced using Stellar Blade in another game. So we're going to take a look at these today along with the photo mode. Now I'm definitely going to talk about these again when they come out. To be honest, I know I'm not like a hardcore news channel, but Stellar Blade is like one of the few games I've been really passionate about in the last, I don't know, year or two, especially in RPGs. Another one being Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So when there's really anything Stellar Blade, I'm there, all right? So we're gonna hop into it today, but if you enjoyed today's video, you want to leave a like, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I do have a question of the day for you, which is there any other content you want to see come to Stellar Blade? This could be crossovers with another brand, maybe even a fashion brand. That would definitely work for this game, looking at Eve and her bodacious, fashionable bod. And of course, as well, it could be things like story expansions, etc. Or are you good with what it is? You, after photo mode and stuff, want them to kind of move on? Maybe work on a sequel, prequel, whatever. Let me know. Now, this was all announced at the State of Play the other day, and you know what's funny? The one thing I was hoping to see in State of Play that was reasonable was Stellar Blade. The other things were things like an Infamous remaster, superhero games, you know, things like that, or Sly Cooper. No. I knew we weren't going to get any of that, but I did have my hopes held out for Stellar Blade, and they delivered, because the photo mode is going to be out sometime before the end of the year. We don't know when, along with the Nier Automata DLC, or crossover collaboration DLC. We don't know yet if that is going to cost anything, because originally they said DLC would be free, except that they might have to charge for collaborations depending on, because of licensing fees and stuff like that. Kim Hyung-tae, Shift Up, they had been pretty transparent about this before. Probably a lot of people won't have read it and they'll get mad if that happens, but they were transparent from day one on that. Now, the photo mode is something I'm really most excited about. The Nier Automata crossover is cool, but the photo mode is something that I think is really awesome because I've been really waiting for this for a long time. This will let you choose your favorite poses, different expressions, filters, all kinds of stuff, move Eve around. I saw them taking pictures of her with Lily. You know, basically they wanted to do a very in-depth photo mode to actually get that out there, and it's looking like that's what it's gonna be. Again, I'm gonna take a look at that when it actually launches because I'm very excited for it. I love photo modes in games. They're probably one of my favorite features, and personally, I think that every game, at least single player, should have a photo mode of some kind. You know, maybe if it's like a isometric or like 2D or something like that, there's probably examples of where it wouldn't work, but I'm talking about every major 3D modern video game. I think a photo mode is really awesome to see. I usually just kind of expect it, but it's not really an expected feature, unfortunately, for a lot of games. I mean, for Stellar Blade, I kind of wish that they had just released a bare bones one on disc that just let you kind of go free camera, put in a couple of filters, maybe 1 or 2 expressions and poses, and then made this better one. Because right now there is no photo mode on disc, and there's no photo mode, you know, up to this point. The game is months old and a lot of people have moved on. But that said, I haven't moved on. I could never move on from my love Eve, that gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful lady. So I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, it's like I wish that there was a more bare bones one earlier so that we at least could have done something with it. But I'm glad that the one that we're getting seems like it was at least worth waiting for. It seems like it'll be high quality. And to me, from the brief snippet we saw, it looked like it would be along the lines of some of the higher quality photo modes I've seen. Things like Assassin's Creed Mirage's photo mode was pretty good. Things like Marvel's Spider-Man 1 and 2, things like Batman Arkham Knight. It's looking kind of along those lines, but possibly even more detailed with some of the expressions and the different poses. So I'm actually very excited for that, coming out by the end of 2024. The other major crossover coming to Stellar Blade itself is that Nier Automata one, and while we haven't really seen much of it yet, other than 2B basically being a skin, not really a skin, but more like an outfit, I would say, for Eve, I'm hopeful that there will be more to it than that. Again, we just don't really know yet until we actually see more with it, but I am really excited just to be able to, you know, play around with that, have fun, get more outfits, and I think that's something that I'm really looking forward to, is more outfits in the game, regardless of what they are. I do hope that maybe there's some more crossovers in the future, but again, we don't know yet, so we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed on that and waiting and seeing. We know that they have a plan for Stellar Blade. We know that right now, Kim Hyung-tae is still the majority shareholder at Shift Up. I've seen some people say, well, now the public is able to buy shares in Shift Up. Is this company going to go downhill? With Kim Hyung-tae as the head of Shift Up, I really don't think so. I don't have any worries about that. One thing I do think is funny with the Nier crossover is just the transparency around the Nier series and around Yoko Taro about it, saying things like, we will gladly say yes to anything for money. I thought was really funny, just straight up on Twitter. Along with Yoko Taro, he had talked about this before in terms of needing to make money in order to make games. Keep in mind, by the way, he's never slandered Square Enix, the publisher of these games or anything like that. Square Enix, though, is kind of like very particular about their money. They have abandoned entire series, they have stepped away from games, they have just washed their hands of a lot because of money. So it makes sense that when Yoko Taro is working on these games with his team, that he would want money, that he would want to be able to keep making this series in order to actually, create something. And unfortunately, the way that the world works is that we are beholden in at least some extent to money. So he said in the past that he wants to make something fun and that that's the whole point in a lot of ways of making games, but that he doesn't just make games for fun. He had talked in interviews saying, that a game director, even though they have to have a love of art, they also have to be able to get people to buy their game and get people to actually connect with it and want to play it. And he went off kind of joking around, saying things like, please give us your money, making jokes about it. And he goes around wearing a replica mask pretty much everywhere he goes, kind of like an internet sensation. I wouldn't say poking fun at himself, but playing a character while also being, a game director. And I think he does a very good job at it. One of my favorite quotes from him was, for us, if we were asked, we would gladly say yes to anything for money. We're open to any kind of opportunities for anything ever. Even if it's Candy Crush, if they want to use 2B, we will say yes, please, go ahead and use her. So I think that level of, Jill over there had said he's just me, but that level of transparency I think is actually nice to see, because at the end of the day, I don't like when companies only care about money. That's something that annoys me. But I don't actually think there's anything wrong with caring about money. There's nothing wrong with caring that your product sells. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be able to make more of it. Guess what? Food costs money, clothes cost money, groceries cost money, everything costs money, living costs money. It makes sense to want your game to cost money. So it makes sense that he's open to that, but also pretty forthcoming with it. I like that attitude. He's one of those people I respect in the RPG space along with Kim Hyung-tae. And I did also want to say that as a closing, something else that's cool this year, which is a free update, is that Astrobot is actually getting Eve as a basically cameo bot to save. Now, I'm hoping that eventually we will get her outfit in Astrobot, because one of my biggest criticisms of Astrobot is that there's a lot of characters in there from PlayStation and gaming's history that we don't actually get to use the costumes of. You just save them, and then they roam around the island and you can interact with them a little bit, and that's it. So I'm glad that she's going to be there. There's going to be a bot dressed as Eve, and I think that's fun. But what I hope is that maybe they will put, an actual Eve outfit in there. Now, do I expect Astro's ass to shake and have the voluptuous jiggle physics of our angel, our beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous protagonist Eve? Probably not. But hey, I'm sure someone would be into it, so I'm just throwing the idea out there, okay? Speaking of money, it might print it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe. Let us know what you think down there. I do read those. I am interested in those. I also do have that other channel, Degenerate Plays, where I've been playing through games like Stellar Blade. My wife Jill and I have been playing through it over there, having a great time. And of course, as well, we have Degenerate J. We have Magical Jill, where we've been making a lot of anime videos, recently made a video on Pokemon. We also have our own store, cosmobunny.shop, where we take magazines, comic books, manga, different things that have been damaged. Some of these books end up waterlogged. Some of these books end up just, receiving a lot of wear and tear over the years, and they're not able to be sold by stores. So what we do is we take those we actually transform them into new art like coasters, keychains, and trays, save some of those pages and paper that is actually usable, keep them out of landfills, and then we recycle the rest. So if you want to help support our channel, every purchase goes to help support that, and we appreciate you very much. We hope you have a fantastic day, and as always everyone, stay shui.